Hi guys, I'm Louise Rowe and I'm here talking to fashion insiders as part of the Skype Conversation Series. We're in very trendy Shoreditch, home to London's most edgy street stars, and a fitting place to discuss how cutting-edge technology has opened up the fashion industry. Joining me on the sofa right now is José Neves, founder and CEO of global high-end e-tailer Farfetch. How are you doing today?
Very well, very
Good.
well.
Thank you for joining us. And it's not just you, we've got other people joining us on Skype all around the world. So from New York is Craig Arend, one of fashion's first street style photographers and the founder of website Altamira Models Off Duty. Hi Craig, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. And we've got Lauren Sherman, writer and editor-at-large of Fashionista.com, one of my favourite websites. It is huge, we love it. But that's not all. Lauren, you are a legend. You've written for Elle.com, the Wall Street Journal, the Star.com as well. Huge website. So thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Thank you.
Last but not least, also in New York, is Eddie Mullon, founder, CEO and creator of Fashion GPS, one of the industry's most indispensable technology systems to date. Eddie, thanks for being with us too.
Oh, thank you.
So let's kick it off with Lauren. What has been the general impact of technology on fashion? Big question to open up with.
Yeah, it's a really big question. I mean, I think obviously it's changed everything, but I think the biggest thing is it's made everyone in the industry more accountable. Everything you do now can be tracked and can be accelerated. So it's made people a lot more accountable, and it's made the industry move more quickly.
Super fast. Before something's even come on the runway, you've already seen it on Twitter and Instagram backstage, right? How do you think technology enables creative opportunities?
Yeah, I think that we're living in the era of the entrepreneur, and that is very, very true in fashion, whether or not you're doing an e-commerce startup or a blog or you're, a personal stylist. It's allowed people to kind of build their own audiences and create really cool, interesting businesses that might not have existed 10 years ago.
José, I'd love to come to you on that note. As the founder of an e-commerce company, your success clearly hinges on technology. Could you ever have predicted how successful that would be?
I've always been an entrepreneur, and my first business was actually when I was 19 years old. It was a technology business. So I was a coder before I even understood anything about fashion. And then I just stumbled upon fashion by chance in 1996, moved to London. So I always had this, dual track, if you want, technology and fashion. And that was really clear to me back in 2007 when I had the idea that the online channel was going to be vital for, for retailers in general and for independent fashion boutiques. And all they needed was a platform. And a company that really loved them and understood them and provided them the tools to do that.
The leg up.
Yeah.
And Craig, on to you. How has technology helped to shape your career as a fashion photographer? Because I love your story.
Originally, I was inspired by the message boards back around 2004 and 5, the fashionspot.com. And my progress as a photographer is strictly due to social media and the internet, 100%. I get my bookings and my booking value, I would say, at the beginning of my career, mostly from the blog.
And now Instagramming for New York Times, doing all right.
Instagramming for the New York Times, adapting to the rise of the power of mobile tablet technology.
Yeah, that's not so bad. You're doing all right, Craig. Eddie, I'd love to ask you, how do you think technology has made the fashion industry more efficient?
I feel like we're just at the beginning, but I feel when I think about this data, data is so important in what we're doing and how we're tracking it. So I feel like data is going to be a really important part of how the fashion industry is becoming more efficient.
I'm in absolute awe of all of you, the way that you have predicted and also kind of jumped off the cliff a little bit, because nobody can predict what is going to happen with technology. Lauren, back to you. Technology and fashion. You've written about it extensively. It's a subject close to your heart. How do you think it's changed in recent years with fashion embracing technology?
Well, I think that José is a very special case in that he does have both tracks, and I think that was the big issue for fashion for a long time, is that everyone was creative and no one really wanted to understand the technology. Maybe they wanted to use it. I'd say in the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot more investment in fashion startups, and therefore more technology people have been more interested in it. But I think that it's taken quite some time, and most publishing houses, most e-commerce sites are still not there in terms of really going all for it. It's the companies that kind of start from the ground up. Farfetch, of a kind, is another one that seem to be the most successful on both ends of the stick.
So, Craig, back in 2007, you were one of the first ever street style photographers, and it doesn't seem that long ago, but since then, it's just become a phenomenon, just standing outside Lincoln Center at Fashion Week. Everyone seems to be a photographer now, thanks to the camera phone. How do you stay ahead of the curve?
I stay ahead of the curve by recognizing that in the same way that Google and eBay and Style.com and Net-a-Porter exploded onto the desktop scene back in 2000 to 2003, so we are now in an equal opportunity era, like the application era. So I study sites like Mashable, Popular Science. A favorite of mine is the Singularity. And I even spend time on the application store on the iPhone, finding out what the marketplace is responding to by figuring out which apps have been downloaded most, which ones are the top grossing apps, and doing my research that way.
That's some good tips there. Eddie, you designed the Fashion GPS specifically as a tool for the industry, and I mean, it's blown up. It does a lot of different things. Could you explain to people what Fashion GPS is all about?
So originally, the system was built to do sample management. So if you're a PR agency and you need to send out samples to, say, the media, traditionally with our Fashion GPS would take around 40 minutes. We're able to take that whole process down to a couple of minutes. And I think where I really became passionate, because I was doing other things apart from creating databases. I think at the time I was making video games as one, and actually had my heart set on other things. But there's a lot of manual things are still done on paper. I don't get why people spend an hour doing something that technology can actually simplify it. Especially the interns, because in fashion closets,
yeah.
We have these interns that spend hours
You've
trying to
changed
organize
their lives,
their
Eddie.
samples.
So I think interns around the world will be grateful for you. And also, there's another part of Fashion GPS, which is more to do with the editorial side, say Fashion Week, scheduling. How did that come about?
Just how can we make fashion shows more efficient? So when we started working with IMG and Mercedes-Benz in 2010, if you kind of think about what happens with just New York fashion, we're able to streamline the whole process by introducing barcodes and a community GPS radar. And it hasn't stopped there. For me, I'm really looking at the industry worldwide. How can we really help? At the end of the day, when you really start to think about the fashion industry and what actually happens, you've got the fashionista side, which is the fashion shows, the samples, and then you've got the CAD/CAM, the business side of the industry. So what we're really looking to do is really help the whole industry connect and make things more efficient.
Okay, Craig, models off duty has now become a term that's been coined, and that is obviously the name of your blog, your website. Have you seen models using technology off duty, and what do you tend to see them doing? Because some of them are very, very savvy now with social media.
I do meet a lot more models now who are just savvy with Instagram. They get the selfies, so they get lots of likes that way, and they shoot behind the scenes action that your typical teenage girl wouldn't be able to see unless it was for their Tumblr post or for their Instagram post or for their
or
Facebook
teenage
sharing.
boy, Craig. And Lauren, do you think technology enables high fashion to be more accessible?
Yeah, I think one thing that is really interesting, obviously the internet has made fashion much more democratic, and I think, teenagers and people just starting to become interested in fashion are much more better educated than they were 15 years ago. But I also think 3D technology is something the fashion industry is going to have to think a lot about in the next 5 or 10 years. I was at a FT summit in New York last January, and they talked quite a bit about how 3D technology and counterfeiting. And So I think that, technology is really exciting, but it's also a little scary, and it can be great for designers, and it can be not so great. So it's going to be a really interesting next 5 years, I think.
Definitely. I mean, live streaming too. Burberry was one of the first brands to do that with their show. Sites like Moda Operandi, anyone can now buy straight from the runway. Who are the other market leaders in your opinion?
I love Moda Operandi's model. I think it's really interesting. Obviously, José has done some really great stuff, and
It's lucky you said that, because he's right here.
I always love talking to him about omni-channel stuff. I'm interested in what he's going to do with, because I really think the future is shopping in not only online but connected to in real life as well. There's just a lot of really great content, and when content and commerce work well together, that's the most exciting thing.
Yeah. Okay, José, retail, such a huge part of the fashion industry. How has technology changed retail?
It changed a lot, although actually if 90% of fashion sales still happen offline.
90%?
Yes, online is just 10% of the market.
Wow.
So I think actually what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I had no idea it was
and that's
so
really
low.
exciting, because fashion is the second largest e-commerce category. I think there's going to be a myriad of new business models, new ideas. But fundamentally, I think the merge of the physical world with the digital world is the next big thing.
Definitely. You guys must be pretty kitted out. I've got to ask, which tech tools do you all use in your creative life? José, start with you.
It's pretty predictable, really. Smartphone, laptop, nothing, too gadgety,
No,
I'm afraid.
no UFO stuff, no?
No.
I'm disappointed. Come on, somebody else give me something weird and wonderful that I don't understand. Lauren, what do you use?
Does City Bike count? I feel like it does. It's a technology thing. I'm a huge proponent of City Bike. I know in London you guys have, what do they call them, the Boris bikes or something?
Boris bike, gotta love it. Yeah.
Obviously that's a in real life thing, but it's powered by technology, and it's changed the way I commute in the city. So that's my favorite thing right now.
That's great. Eddie, what were you saying? You love the city bikes?
I do. That's how I get around as well. It's like when you're trying to catch a cab and you can't get it, and there's the bike there. It's easy to get, and then you drop it off, and you at that next meeting. So it's fantastic. I love that.
Craig.
And I also love Uber as well.
That's a brilliant one. Craig, what do you love?
I'm a definite fan of Photoshop's application that I use on my iPad. So if I'm working under like a tight deadline condition, I have a camera cord that connects directly to my camera, which is right back there. And then it goes to my iPad. And then I can do some Photoshop work while I'm out in the field, like during Fashion Week, to meet deadlines.
What's that one?
Photoshop application.
There's a really good one, like Beautify Me or something, and it just makes you flawless instantly. For those of us who can't really properly use Photoshop, that's an amazing one. I love those answers that were basically revolved around bicycles. I can understand bicycles. Okay, guys, a quick fire round. If you can, answer each question in no more than 5 words, please. Okay, José, starting with you. How will we be shopping in 2020?
Omnichannel is the word, but it's a bit of a industry buzzword. So it's basically what's available somewhere is available anywhere.
Okay,
so
anywhere in the world, omnichannel.
Anywhere in the world, yeah.
All right, creatively, which tool could you not live without?
Dropbox.
Okay, love it. I know how to use that. Okay, Craig, over to you. How will we be shopping in 2020?
Mobile, tablet, technology applications.
Creatively, what tool could you not live without? Or it might be
currently Instagram and Photoshop.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Eddie, how are we going to be shopping in 2020?
I feel there's going to be a lot that's going to happen with, especially mobile and also entertainment. For example, if you're watching a film or a TV, I feel like as you're watching it, you'll be able to shop it and buy it. I feel there's going to be a big shift in that.
Okay, and which tool could you not live without?
The tool that I cannot live without is Skype. I use it all the time. I use it to communicate with my developers, my team. Usually when I'm traveling abroad, it's the best way for me to get in touch, send files. Yeah.
Thanks, Eddie. Last but not least, Lauren, how will we be shopping in 2020? My answer is just for shoes, still shoes.
For lots of shoes. I'm just going to copy José because he's the expert on this one and say omni-channel.
Okay, and creatively, which tool could you not live without?
Definitely my smartphone. It's the center of my world.
It's a popular answer. It was an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate your time, your advice. It's been fascinating. Thanks for joining us all around the world. And to you guys at home, there's more fashion industry insights on the Skype collaboration project. So go and take a look and get involved. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.